The most free-to-play friendly meta DPS character. Yep, now we're going to talk about a character named Evanescia. After some time ago, I already fully covered the ultimate guide for Silver Wolf level 999, who has already become a meta character in version 4.2. Of course, in this video, I'm also going to fully discuss this character as well. As you guys know, Evanescia herself has a physical type with the Elation path, whose role is as a Hypercarry DPS within the team, which is pretty similar to Silver Wolf level 999. It's just that the difference that I think is the most significant lies in the mechanism of her kit, her team composition, and also the attack focus produced by this character. Because unlike Silver Wolf, who has a special mechanism to activate her ultimate, Evanescia needs a large amount of energy and certified banger so that she can fulfill her very high energy cost requirement, which is 240 points. So without further ado, I'm hsrguide, and now we're just going to jump straight into the ultimate guide discussion for Evanescia version 4.2. Let's do this. Alright, real quick before we continue, for those of you playing honkaistarrail or Zenless Zone Zero, I've got a quick recommendation for you. If you ever find yourself needing to top up, whether you're going for a new character, saving up for a banner, or you just need a few extra pulls, you might want to check out Buff. What I like about Buff is that the prices are usually more affordable compared to other platforms. And the whole process is really simple. No complicated steps, no unnecessary waiting, everything's pretty fast and straightforward. And the best thing is, you can use the voucher code hsrguide to get an extra discount on your purchase. If you're interested, there's a link in the description. You can go check it out and see if it works for you. First of all, we're going to enter the discussion about her skill first, which in my opinion is pretty simple, called Discipline Final Verdict. The skill will deal physical damage based on 300% of Evanescia's attack to one enemy, and 150% to two enemies around them. Not only that, the skill will also grant 10 punchline points. Honestly, in my personal opinion, just by taking a quick look, it's already clear that the damage multiplier from this skill is considered quite huge. On top of that, the skill will also give an additional 10 punchlines, which makes the Elation damage become even bigger. Next, we're going to move on to her ultimate, called Sword Song Absolution Denied. This ultimate has an AoE type attack, which deal physical damage equal to 160% of Evanescia's attack to all enemies. And after that, it will launch 5 additional attacks where each one deals 120% physical damage based on Evanescia's attack to one random enemy. Now what's interesting guys, if you pay attention, this ultimate is really similar to Saber's ultimate, which both deal one attack to all enemies plus bounce attacks to random enemies. Not only are they similar from their kits, both of them also require a huge amount of energy. Oh yeah, because this ultimate has a bounce type attack section, then clearly this ultimate will be pretty good when used to attack enemies with small numbers or even boss type enemies. Because if we calculate it, if all the bounce attacks hit the same enemy, you will deal around 760% of Evanescia's total attack as damage, which in my opinion is already extremely huge. What do you guys think? Okay, now we're going to discuss the part of the kit that, in my opinion, is the most interesting and has effects that are quite complex for us to discuss. What else could it be other than Evanescia's talent, called Youth, Helicon Evermore? Just like the mechanics of other Elation characters, through this talent, Evanescia can convert 20% of critical damage into bonus Elation. Which means the higher the critical damage stat, the bigger her Elation stat will also become. So, building this character with a high critical damage is really recommended. Second, through this talent, every time Evanescia gains energy, it will automatically convert into certified banger points. And the reverse also applies. So, logically, characters that can provide energy or certified banger will be really good and ideal to pair with Evanescia. Some examples of those characters are EMC, Sunday, Woho, and also Tingyun. Third, when Evanessia's energy accumulates to 240 points, her summon called Master Fox will launch an attack equal to 100% of Evanessia's attack to all enemies and restore 10 energy to Evanescia. And it doesn't stop there. This attack also deals an additional 25% physical elation damage to all enemies. The coolest part is, when Evanescia has Certified Banger, every time we use skill, it will deal physical elation damage equal to 16% to the target enemy. Not only that, when using ultimate, we will also deal additional physical elation damage equal to 24% to all enemies and also deal 28% physical elation damage to enemies hit by the random damage. So yeah, from this kit we are basically subtly forced to consistently have Certified Banger, so that this kit can keep running continuously. And for the next kit, we are going to move on into the technique section. Petal Fall Floral Reminiscence. When using this technique, Evanescia will immediately attack enemies within the area. And after entering battle, she will deal physical damage equal to 100% of Evanessia's attack to all enemies, and we will gain 20 Certified Banger points. It's true that the technique effect can be considered really simple, just dealing damage and then giving Certified Banger. But in my opinion, this is actually really useful because, like I said before, Evanescia has a kit that can convert Certified Banger into energy. So when entering battle, we immediately gain 20 free energy. Next, we are going to enter her Elation skill, called Scarlet Elation or Execution, which will deal 100% physical elation damage to all enemies and grant 10 Certified Banger points. You could say this Elation skill is really similar to her technique, with a small difference in the scaling damage produced and the amount of Certified Banger we get. Even though this Elation skill is not the main attack that deals deadly damage, this skill is one that gets triggered pretty often during battle, especially if we pair her with EMC, who has a kit that can trigger the Elation skill of the character that we choose. Now it's time for us to move on to the traces. For the first trace, Shared Watch All Revels. You could say this trace is really important because this trace will passively increase Evanessia's critical rate by 30%. Now this means this character is really friendly for new player guys, because we don't need to look for very high substats to make this character function properly. After that, this trace also explains that the fewer enemies there are on the field, the stronger Evanessia's ultimate damage will become, because this ultimate will have higher damage thanks to the additional bounce effect. In my opinion, this effect is really cool, making this character super duper flexible and usable in various kinds of endgame content, like Apocalyptic Shadow and Pure Fiction, which have completely different mechanics. And lastly, when there is a teammate with an Elation skill that gains Certified Banger, Evanescia will convert 50% of that Certified Banger into her own Certified Banger. Well, now you already know that this effect will be really useful for characters that can easily generate Certified Banger, which is EMC. Next, for the second trace, called Weigh All Truths. It has an effect that, in my opinion, is pretty useful. When Master Fox launches an attack originating from her talent, Master Fox will apply a debuff called Vulnerability to the target enemy, which can increase damage taken by 12% for 3 turns. You could say the effect from this second trace can be considered a very useful bonus debuff after we manage to reach 240 energy points. The vulnerability applied can also increase overall attacks, which means Evanessia's ultimate will also become even stronger. Next, for the third trace, Best All Blooms. When a teammate's Certified Banger ends, Evanescia converts 50% of it into her own Certified Banger. You could say this trace complements the effect of her first trace, with the difference being the source of the Certified Banger being converted. So this effect will be maximized if our Elation teammates can also have a large amount of Certified Banger, for example EMC. Okay, now it's time for us to discuss the segment most loved by the whales. And what else could it be other than the Eidolons section? For the first Eidolon, it's called Honk, a prayer in dance. In my opinion, the effect is already extremely good, because the effect of this Eidolon will increase all tap resistant penetration by 20%, which makes all of Evanescia's attacks become stronger without exception. And what's cool is that this effect has no conditions whatsoever, meaning it will always be active forever, guys. Not only that, this island also has a second effect, which is after Master Fox attacks through her talent, it will trigger one additional Elation skill. The Elation skill triggered by Evanescia will now also grant an additional 10 certified banger. Clearly, this is really good, because every time she launches an Elation skill, she will gain a total of 15 certified banger, which means the effect of Island 1 will accelerate Evanescia in triggering her ultimate. After that, for the second island, Voyage, A Wish for Everbloom, it will passively increase critical damage by 36%, and also without any conditions, which means just like the previous island effect, Island 2 can also increase the damage for Evanescia's entire kit. In addition, because Evanescia has scaling with critical damage to be converted into Elation, indirectly, this island effect also slightly increases her Elation stat. And for the next effect, when we gain certified banger through her trace, we will gain additional certified banger again. Honestly, in my opinion, the E2 effect is really good and will definitely have a significant effect on her damage output. Because with the E2 effect, the certified banger gained becomes almost twice as much through her trace. I recommend that if you want to maximize Evanescia, you absolutely should get this E2. And next, for the fourth island, Meadow, A Ruin by Vice. This island will make all damage dealt by Evanescia ignore 15% of enemy defense. Even though it has a very simple effect, this island can provide quite a meaningful impact, because ignore defense affects all types of Evanescia's attacks. And most importantly, the effect of this island also has no conditions and can active immediately. Next, for the last island, Maiden, A Step into Dreams. The duration of certified banger will increase by 1 turn. On top of that, the Elation damage produced by Evanescia will gain the Merry Makes effect, which can increase Elation damage by 15%. And this effect can still increase according to the amount of certified banger that we have. The more certified banger we have, the bigger the Merry Makes effect we get. Not only that, after using ultimate for the first time upon entering battle, Evanescia can immediately restore 120 energy, or you could say half of her ultimate energy. This effect can be triggered one time every 4 ultimates. Now it's time for us to move on to the build section, the part you guys have been waiting for. As usual, the best land cone choice, it obviously goes to her signature land cone, called Until the Flowers Bloom Again. This land cone has a passive effect that passively increases the user's critical damage by 60% and energy regeneration by 10%, which in my opinion is already really amazing. And it doesn't stop there. When the user's maximum energy exceeds 120 points, for every 10 points of maximum energy exceeding that amount, it will further increase the energy regeneration rate by 0.3% up to a maximum of excess of 360 maximum energy. Because Evanescia has a maximum energy of 480 points, we will get a total of 20.8% energy regeneration through the effect of this line cone. Pretty cool, right? And lastly, when the user launches an Elation skill, it increases the damage taken by enemies by 15% for 2 turns. In my opinion, this line cone has effects that are absolutely mandatory for you to get if you want to maximize your Evanescia. The increase in critical damage, energy regeneration, and the damage taken debuff for enemies will be extremely useful for Evanescia, because the increase in these stats will clearly have a massive impact. For example, on the amount of Elation stats, the speed of using her ultimate, and also the damage dealt to enemies. Oh yeah, because the effect of this line cone is very universal, this line cone can also be used on Sparksy as an optional line cone if you don't have her signature. Then what about the alternative options? Because Evanescia scales with critical damage, in my opinion, you can also use the line cone called Tomorrow together, which provides a pretty decent increase in critical damage. And when you use ultimate, it will increase the entire team's Elation. Even though the effect is obviously far behind compared to the signature, at the very least it gives a better option than other light cones. Now, for the relic set, just like Silver Wolf level 999, Ever Glorious Magical Girl will become the best set for Evanescia, because this relic provides an increase in critical damage, and when the user deals Elation damage, it will ignore the target's defense, which is extremely useful for Evanescia. Then for the Planner Ornament, you can also use the ornament set used by other Elation characters, which is Bangalore Stage 0. This ornament provides an increase in Elation. On top of that, if our Elation stat reaches 80%, we will gain another 32% increase in critical damage, which already matches Evanescia's scaling. And lastly, for the recommended stats, you can see them on your screen. Okay, now it's time for us to discuss the best teammates for Evanescia. Right now, the team lineup of Evanescia, EMC, Yaoguang, and Huohuo can already be considered the coolest team. Because like I said in several other videos, EMC and Yaoguang are the best supports for Evanescia. They can provide certified banger, give AHA instant, and several other important buffs that Evanescia really needs. On the other hand, Huohuo also plays a pretty good role. This universal sustain is also really good because she can provide extra energy, especially for characters that have a large energy pool, like Evanescia, making her ultimate much easier to trigger. Maybe some of you here are wondering, what about the free-to-play lineup? Okay, here I will answer that. Like I said at the beginning, Evanescia is a character that is really great for free-to-play players or new players, because her team lineup is easier to achieve compared to Silver Wolf level 999. For free-to-play players, you can use the lineup of Evanescia, EMC, Sunday, and also Huohuo, or a formation like Evanescia, EMC, Tingyun, and also Huohuo. You could say Evanescia is extremely flexible. Even several other characters like Bronya can actually be paired with Evanescia because she provides additional critical damage, which will clearly increase her damage output. At the end of this video segment, as usual, we are going to discuss which is better between S1 or E1 for Evanescia. Now, if we compare these two effects, they are actually both equally good. The effect of E1 can provide all-type resistant penetration and also additional certified banger, while S1 offers critical damage, energy regeneration, and also damage taken. Honestly, in my personal opinion, her signature light cone offers many things that are much better compared to the effect of her E1. It's true that the existence of the all-type resistant penetration effect will increase Evanescia's damage, but her signature light cone also provides a similar effect. And even you get two stats, namely critical damage and also Elation. On top of that, the energy regeneration gained is extremely huge, which is 20.8%. Making Evanescia gain a lot of additional energy without having to use Elation skill first. Whereas the E1 effect, we only get additional energy when performing Elation skill. And for the next reason, the gap difference between the free LC and her signature LC is extremely large. The free LC called Tomorrow Together only offers a 24% increase in critical damage at S5, while her signature LC can provide 60% along with additional effects such as extra energy and also the damage taken debuff. Okay guys, maybe that's all for now. What do you think about Evanescia? Please leave any comments down below and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are no less cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.